Hello everyone, this is Koji from Celestial Rhythms. Equinox, spring equinox, just a couple days ago, the beginning of a new astrological year of a 365-day cycle. That's the most important moment in the astrological year, the natural year. It is that moment when the sun is exactly vertical above the equator, when day and night are exactly 12 hours all over the globe from north to south pole. That moment is a starting point naturally, and as all starting points, it holds the power of prediction. What was very special on that day was Jupiter. Jupiter in Greenwich on the 0 meridian, which divides Earth into Western and Eastern Hemisphere at 0 West. Jupiter was exactly in zenith and in Washington, D.C., that same moment had Jupiter at the Ascendant. So this is very rare. This makes Jupiter highly important. Jupiter is about expansion, optimism, evolution in general. Jupiter is the biggest force of change and of progress. Jupiter is the fastest spinning planet, and it's huge. It's about 12 times the diameter of Earth. It's the largest planet. It holds the biggest amount of radial momentum, which is all about change, constant change. Everything is in the move. So Jupiter here at the Ascendant, this is like the cavalry rolling in and announcing a new day, announcing a new regimen, a new strategy. So this just happened 2 days ago. Naturally, we cannot fully see that. We might feel it now in Greenwich at the 0 meridian. The global chart had Jupiter right here at the zenith. And this is the crown of the tree, if you want. This is the vertical axis, the plumb line. This is just not vertical to the equator because of the time of the year. So the horizon is here, and that's the latitude of Greenwich, which makes that angle. But this is the vertical axis, the 0 line, so to say, consciousness axis. Jupiter up here is change in how we perceive life in the very big picture, government structures in the move, changing. Optimism is rising, which is kind of hard to see at this point, as we're under so much constriction and everything is kind of almost deflated because of whatever has been created. So Jupiter is definitely a harbinger of big moves, big changes, very loud, very dramatic in many ways. So just a day or so later, the moon was 90 degrees ahead of the sun, which was the beginning of the next 7-day cycle in that sense. You see, we have cycles within cycles, so this is the one which is 365 days through the zodiac. Now, if you go to the weekly cycle, it is, let me see where we have it here. Okay, here we go. So this was then the 21st of March, and what stands out here is the Ascendant in Washington is 13 degrees Gemini, aligned with the North Node, which is the evolutionary direction at present, collectively. And if we just quickly go to the American chart, you will see why I'm so excited here. This is totally in line with the American chart's Descendant, the 7th house cusp, kind of where we unite, where people meet each other. So it is that same focus as the American chart has, which makes this week particularly meaningful for the American people. It's the same frequency, and Mars and the North Node will actually meet on Friday the 26th, just a few days from now, on that exact degree, 13 degrees and 14 minutes of arc. Pretty much dead on the American nation's 7th house cusp. So this is a very clear sign of big action looming. Something is coming. Something big is coming. So the next way I try to kind of box it in, find which time really we are looking at for big changes, and the next big move is when the Sun enters hexagram 17, 352.30 in Aries, versus Earth on the other side entering hexagram 18, and that's really what I'm here wanting to line out. This is work on what has been spoiled, and I'm quickly showing you here. This is the 365 degrees, the 360 degrees, and here you have the overlay of the 64 hexagrams according to the Human Design System. This is a powerful overlay. I'm strongly recommending astrologers amongst you to start using it. It gives dramatic results. I have this on my website, the exact breakdown of the degrees, so you can go there and get the exact breakdown. Here I just want to quickly highlight this hexagram 18, 352.30. This is the one I'm focusing on right now, which is, as I say, work on what has been spoiled. So this energy represents something which is out of balance. Worms are breeding. This means decay. It has come about because the gentle indifference in the lower trigram has come together with the rigid inertia of the upper, and the result is stagnation. Since this implies guilt, the condition embodies a demand for removal of the cause. Hence, the meaning of the hexagram is not simply what has been spoiled, but work on what has been spoiled. This is always the time when something is done to initiate change. And as it's the Earth sign, it's down here on Earth. This initiates then a whole series of really interesting hexagrams, and we will go into that in the follow-up videos I will make in the next days or so. So this energy, Sun in 17, Earth in 18, begins Wednesday 24th, very early morning. That's 3:19, 3:20 in the morning Washington time, and that is a roughly 6-day period taking us into March the 30th. So why do I think this is the window when things really get shifted, aside from what I already said? Again, this chart for Washington is highlighting some really powerful points in the American nation's chart. If we go back, you see that is the degree of Sun and Earth. The main axis of identity, if you want. This axis being here in the horizon axis embedded, is a clear sign that these 7 days, these 6-7 days will be hosting really big shifts and moves. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I don't want to make this video too long, so I really just am focusing on the most important. What stands out in this chart is certainly Uranus here at the 4th house cusp at the source point. Uranus always good for surprise. Uranus and TX 300, which is related to military power. It is that rough and kind of rude energy which sometimes is necessary to put something back into balance. Uranus and TX 300, actually, if you do the midpoint here of these two, you get to 7 degrees and 11 minutes exactly. You see, if you add it up, 5 plus 8 is 13, 45 plus 37 is 14, 22 divided by 2, 7, 11. So this is most exact the midpoint between those two, and I refer to those earlier. Mars was involved in early January when TX 300 actually changed into direct motion, initiating that 7-month roughly period of forward moving TX 300 outgoing. And again, I then already said this was a clear indication that some military action was in the waiting. Now Mars in the meantime has come here to the 11th degree of Gemini, and this is the 24th, and Mars is just getting ready to line up with the North Node. As I said, this is a powerful activity which pushes evolution in the right direction. Mars is naturally also related to the military. It is taking charge, leading the way. What really makes this powerful is that grand square, this Mars and North Node, and BNR, a free spirit, a revolutionary in many ways. Nessus and Orcus, I spoke of those two many times in the last year. These are two very slow moving bodies. Nessus is the energy of mental illness. Again, the word falls out of my mind. Sometimes I'm having that. Let me think here for a sec. It is that energy of, can I say it? It starts with a P. Yeah, pathological behavior. That's what it is. And Orcus is alchemy. Okiroi always shows up as an accelerator, as an amplifier. Mercury lines into this alignment here. 2 joins. This is all kind of many hands of the clock coming into sync. Kind of overall, this is a strong sign that something is going to be announced which won't be that pleasant, which many people will have issues with, which will be kind of coming as a shock naturally also if Uranus down here. So we are speaking here of the initiation of a 6-day period, and the moon at this moment, when the sun enters this hexagram, where also Chiron is, by the way, hexagram 17, and again the Earth, hexagram 18, work on what has been spoiled. So the moon is in an exact square to TX 300 again, and the moon is also aligned to the American nation's north node. All little snippets which show that this is really everything is aligning perfectly for some bigger moves to get initiated. If we look at the same moment for Greenwich, the global chart, what will be the repercussions? The black moon here at the ascendant, here, this is a sign that some shadow phase is coming into focus. Some shadows will become overwhelmingly visible, and that everybody will be almost surprised. I mean, that's what it will be finally. It will be a big surprise. Interesting, also Arrokoth up here and Hilonome. Arrokoth I mentioned many times. That is the ability to see the whole picture, to integrate all the many pieces of the puzzle, to see the whole scenery as one. Hilonome is about healing, taking on the role of absorbing all that pain and drama, taking it on oneself in a way. And this is in the midheaven. So these 2 points indicate something as from the observer's point of view versus the American nation being the place of action. This is the midpoint chart of that moment when the sun enters hexagram 17, Earth 18, 350, 230, Aries Libra, with the American people's chart. Here what stands out is the new moon, the Scorpio new moon. So this is the halfway point between the base chart, the foundation chart of the nation, and the transiting planets. It is that hinge of observation of where these two energies meet, a very, very important dynamic chart, moves half the speed of the transits naturally. So in this motion we have a new moon every 2 months, so to say, because it moves half the speed. So that's an important station. So that Scorpio new moon here with Juno, teamwork, the understanding that we need to stand together to uphold a big structure, support, mutual support, very, very important in this present time, and that's what will carry that force through. The military only can come into play once the support is there and they feel they are doing the right thing, they are doing what the American people want them to do. There has to be that kind of backdrop, and this seems to come in place here very strongly with that Juno there is a whole bunch more going on here. The galactic center here at the Ascendant. So I wanna keep it at this for now. I don't want to go too long. Maybe as a final chart, I wanna show you the Mars North Node conjunction of the 26th, which, as I said, is the kind of the high point of this week, which is the moment of fastest evolution, of most decisive action, and naturally this is active for a whole series of days. As it is with all alignments, they are getting stronger as 2 points close in on one another and then slowly lose their dynamics again. But this is certainly a 2-week period we're looking at here of intense action. Again, to show you, this is the American nations chart, 13 degrees 13 there at the Descendant, and this is the global chart for that moment. What furthermore makes this alignment of Mars and the North Node very powerful is that moon here on the global Ascendant, carried through by the collective support of all the people. That is what the moon stands for in a collective mundane chart. It's the people who are holding the ground, holding the line, being there in spirit, in their observation of what's going on and tuning in, helping and sending good and great energy to carry this big action through and guaranteeing its success. So I want to leave it at that. I mean, we have also a Sun-Venus conjunction with Salassia. Maybe I should mention this quickly too. That's happening pretty much on the same day. Venus, this is the conjunction, Venus is behind the Sun from our perspective seen. Earth is here, we see the Sun, and Venus is kind of behind. And Salassia is here. Salassia is a trans-Neptunian Kuiper belt object, which is representing what we enjoy, something we really are having lots of fun with. So it shows that overall, even though this is a difficult time, a difficult task, there's lots of heartfelt emotion and joy in the background waiting to push this through, because the best is yet to come, as President Trump so many times said, and he is waiting there in the background and will come into play again once the scene is cleared. So I'll leave it at that. Hold the ground. Stay positive. Know that big shifts are just days ahead. I think it will be the 25th early morning, really, when things will start shifting in a great way. And why I say that, it is that's when not only we have that time-space new moon time, yes, and what is this is the Mars enters the Scorpionic dwad of Gemini under a Jupiter Moon opposition, the Moon going into a void of course phase for pretty much the rest of Thursday. That is 5 in the morning for Washington, and naturally this would probably be a really good time, that late Leo moon of Thursday the 25th. It will be also a dragon day, the red planetary dragon, new beginnings, initiative, birth of a new impulse. The Jupiter opposition is speaking of what I said earlier, of something really loud and dramatic, and this will be the base note of that whole day of the 25th. So just know it, be ready, and I will definitely come back to this chart and explain more once we have a clear picture of what's going on. Meanwhile, I just wanted to keep you updated so you know we have finally reached that point. Yes, we have thought of that many times. This time I'm more certain than ever. Things are aligning in ways which they haven't before. Thanks again for joining in, listening, and yes, let's just be excited and hold the ground and stay positive. Thank you. Talk to you soon.